Well, hello. Well, I stumbled upon another book that will go in the section playlist of Tomes of Fails. This is Breathe In, Bleed Out. And it is supposed to be some fast-paced slasher book. I let you know right now, it's not fast-paced. It is actually a slog in the first 200 pages or something. Really slow. But let's get into it. The basic concept is we have this main character, Hannah. She's traumatized by losing her boyfriend. The story starts up with her dragging her boyfriend out from some wilderness, some winter wilderness, snow and all. And she locks herself away basically, turns her back on her friends. But eventually, her best friend and some friends group together and convince her that she's gonna have to go to this venue, this some sorts of a spiritual yoga place, which is in Joshua Tree, as this will be the location of the book. The book itself is actually not written badly. It's written okay, as I'm concerned. It's written alright. I didn't find it tiresome to read. What I found tiresome, though, is the story, and that though it's promised that it's innovative, it's upgrading the cliches and stuff, it doesn't. It is not. It is not innovative. The kills are boring. It's bloodless, basically, almost. Despite the fact that Stephen Graham Jones says on the top of the book, on the top of the cover, Brian McAuley keeps you guessing the whole gory, satisfying way through. No, it is not gory, and it did not keep me guessing. Probably around 50-page mark or around 80-page mark, I don't remember. I had a hunch who the perpetrator would be. I wasn't even sure if it's this kind of whodunit, but I watched for the character, and it turned out that I successfully had found the murderer. Okay, as slashers go, the character, the murderers, get up. We have these masked killer as a slasher trope. This one wears human skin, like you guessed it, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy. Not very innovative. He's dressed like a miner because there's this legend of a gold mine. Not very innovative. Plenty of films dealt with miners. Nothing new. Big hat, pickaxe, that'll be it. In an interview or some sort of an advertisement for the book, the author, Brian McAuley, promised us good kills, even compared his kills to Final Destination. Nothing like that happened. No. Absolute nothing like that. I'm not sure if we watched the same Final Destination film with the man. But hey, who knows? Nothing to do with that. Actually, the first kill, if we put the boyfriend's death aside in the beginning, which we don't see, we find Hannah dragging her boyfriend out from the wilderness. So I don't count it as a kill. We get back to it in a second, actually, about slashers and intros and kills. But the first kill, on the page kill in the book, takes place in a sauna. And sauna kills are notoriously crap anyway. We had a whole film made of it for a slasher fans once, and that didn't work out. 247 Fahrenheit from 2011. Terrible film. And of course, plenty of other films dealt people being locked in saunas. Very few of any come out well. Even the kill sequences in sauna usually are not very good. I think the concept is ideal because who the hell would want to get stuck in a sauna? I know. But the way they execute them normally just doesn't seem to be working. Who knows? I just have not seen a very good one yet, or maybe they to make a good one. It's beside the point. Let's forget this sauna thing. So yeah, the first kill is in sauna, and then the book drags on. It does drag on. For a start, and I was allowing lots of things in this book because slashers tend to be operating with flimsy characters. Granted, no problem. We're not here to read about character arcs of development. This is one of my problems that makes the beginning of the book slogging. Because Brian tries to develop these characters, and I think it doesn't do any favors, because he basically explains us, sometimes funnily in depth, the cliches, what we know. Again, like in the other book. In this book, I mean the bullet train I spoke in the other episode of Tomes of Fails. In this one as well, we read kind of foreshadowing the obvious. I don't like that. Don't write mysterious sentences and development about the obvious. When you start to read the page, you know where we're going. You know exactly what the point will be. That is wasting the reader's time. Wasting the reader's time over 18 years of age and have read at least 5 books of horror. You're wasting their time. Don't do that. But yeah, we have this handful of characters who are in this resort, and they start to get picked off one by one, as slasher would demand. As I mentioned before, there's not much gore in it. No, it's a family-friendly one. Then the inventiveness of the kills doesn't really happen. There's this character, Pax, Guru Pax. He is some sort of a leader of this resort with his sidekick, Kimberly. And they're setting up these yoga sessions. Guru Pax plies the guests with hallucinogenic drugs, basically, natural kind of stuff boiled in water, but then it turns out to be a placebo, but later on they get really given some substance to be tripping. They have to sign a waiver because taking the substance. And okay, it's actually addressed in the book because it's supposed to be a no technology place. They have to give up their cell phones, all their gadgets, devices. No technology. There's hot springs, no running water. There's no entertainment at all. There's things like sound room or sound chamber or whatever it's called. And there's yoga room. They go in the local woods kind of thing. There's a mine. And it all takes place in the middle of the desert as well. With all this combined, it's really unsatisfying actually to see these setups of locations where we could imagine great kills could take place, and it just don't happen. It just doesn't happen at all. The first kill is at chapter 15, page 131 of a barely 300-page book. The page count clocks in at 327, 329. So, 130th page we have the first skill, and then we slog a little bit more after that. It doesn't get much faster. Then what really kills these books for me is the lack of anatomical research or basic understanding of anatomy. There is a certain scene where a character gets the pickaxe in the shoulder, and as it's described, no gore at all. Don't worry about that. It's family friendly, like I said. It's just absolute nonsense. It's like visually not working, as our author tries to make us believe this is a painful thing. No. If we've seen enough films, or we have basic understanding of human body, then we'd know that if you get whacked with a pickaxe in the shoulder, that is a damage that you're gonna know about big time, and you are going to be deformed for life. It is not something that it just sticks in you and it gets taken out. Your shoulder, your collarbone, whatever, it will get ruined if you really get whacked with that one. I wouldn't be shocked to read if half the arm falls off or something. Also, this book contains a few of these continuity errors, like forgotten objects not being moved, left where they shouldn't have been left. You get away with it in a film, but not in a book, I'm afraid. Things like this. Like I keep saying, it's not easy to write slasher. What she feels next is cold iron against the middle of her back. The pickaxe had pressed perpendicular to her spine. A hand reaches forward and wraps around her face. What? She cries, unable to finish her single syllable before the hand pulls back with brutal force. Those 33 vertebrae she studied in yoga teacher training all pop with blinding clarity as her spinal column snaps like flimsy stick of incense. Her head rests between her feet, now body bent backwards. She coughs blood, splattering her face and dripping down on the yoga mat. Well, yeah, but the perpetrator never took the axe away. And these things are important to actually take the axe away when someone tries to write a death scene like that. Because if we imagine the axe being still perpendicular to her spine, then she couldn't be bent backwards to have her head between her feet. It's kind of the scene from the Final Destination, Candice's death, the gymnast. Maybe that's what the author meant when he mentioned that it has to do anything with Final Destination. I don't know. That's the closest I got to seeing anything Final Destination in this book. Anyhow, let's move on. Then we have loads of dream sequences because our main girl, Hannah, final girl, we could say, she has these bad dreams remembering her dead boyfriend, and this book plays with that over and over and over again, that you read a chapter and suddenly at the end of the chapter we find out that she was only dreaming. This book does it 3-4 times. After the second one, it's really boring. Don't do that, Brian. Don't do that. It's really irritating, actually. No stakes at all. Then we have the other characters. None of them are really gripping. You just don't care about them. When you watch a slasher film from the 80s, you don't really care about the characters, but then again, the producers, the writer, the director make sure that it wouldn't be the point, therefore, they don't waste your time. Toward the ending, we find out that Pax, his guru, has some weird ideas, little den with monitors and digital little fortress there, even though the whole idea would be obviously that there's no devices, no nothing, the cell phones get collected when they arrive to the resort and everything. Anyway, nobody cares about it, and I believe that the author had no idea what Pax was into or onto. It's a red herring, but no one cares about this red herring. Really. Terrible. And these terrible lines in it, like, have you been listening to anything I just said? I'm a data miner, not a gold miner. Pax saying it to Hannah when she accuses him to be the miner of Lombardo. Come on. Come on. Not long to go, and it's not a very good ride either. And introducing them too much, you have flimsy characters, you want to watch them die one by one, that is the point. That's what this book doesn't do. And what I was going to say about the intro, every good slasher film, and since the film's supposed to be in this book, this should supposed to be a book honoring, homaging the films, it should start with a good kill. Every good slasher film starts with a kill. That's how we get introduced to the murderer, the mask, all this stuff. You watch a good horror film, you have a murder, maybe a double murder. In the afterwards, McAuley talks a lot about his favorite slashers, and sadly he evokes Scream as well. I am a Scream fan. I love the Scream trilogy. The rest I don't speak about. I really love the Scream trilogy. But again, that has an intro that starts with a double kill. Original Scream, 1996. I don't know why talk about it so much when it just blotches the intro. At the very end, we find out what happened to the boyfriend, and I was quite pleased to find out that it wasn't Hannah who killed him, but it wasn't the miner either. It was just an elk. Basically, the boyfriend got killed by an elk, got stabbed, hooked with its antlers, or whatever elks have. Yeah, for what it's worth, we learned that one as well. Not that I was interested in that one. After the 50th page, I really couldn't give a toss about what happened to Ben. That's the name. Also, again, we have this idea in it that because of the mine, we have this myth, this legend about this mad miner, hence the dressing up of our killer. But into the story, it's also woven that the grounds are haunted by some Indian spirits, because Kim is an Indian. Again, should I say Stephen King, Pet Cemetery? I shouldn't have involved his name at all. I'm not going down that road. If I really wanted to be mean, I would involve Richard Lehman, because if you want to read slasher that really gets to you in a way of disgust, brutal murders, real violence, some sorts of high stakes, great chases, then you read Richard Lehman. And Brian McAuley, please do read more Richard Lehman if you'd like to write slasher. And some of my winding up myself about it is, again, mismarketing. This book is sold as some gory, violent slasher. It is not. It is not that. Stop selling books like that. Because if today's generation, modern generation, thinks that this is slasher, they don't want to face reality in life. Really. If you read the news or switch off the TV news, you will find more violence in real life than this. Horror is supposed to be violent. It's supposed to be giving you the creeps. It's supposed to be a darker side exploration. Feeling, living through violence in a controlled environment. That's what horrors and slashers are supposed to be in literature and movies. This is a sitcom kind of thing that never survived the pilot episode. And yes, I noted the name Barlow, the surname of the miner. Let's just ignore that. And I think I won't even be ranting about it anymore. It's bad enough as it is. And yes, I bought it for £10. Should have bought a pack of cigarettes. Signing off now.